What's up, guys? Dominic D. Hargrove here, Slight Edge Performance Program, helping parents, coaches, and student athletes especially make the quantum leap in your very own evolutionary educational experience, helping student athletes to take ownership of your academic process, of your mindset. This video is 5 paradigms of a student athlete. What is a paradigm? A paradigm is a way of thinking. A paradigm is a space or a atmosphere of a certain thought process that can shift, that can change. Give an example. You had the Industrial Revolution when the steel industry, Andrew Carnegie, Henry Ford, Detroit, Michigan was producing more cars. Then you had a transition or a paradigm shift into what we now know as the information age. So Slight Edge Performance Program serves as a tool, a resource to help you student athletes make that quantum leap, kind of shorten the way in your process of achieving success. So 5 paradigms of a student athlete. Okay, take notes. The first one is rec league. So recreational league, football, sports. Now that usually it can start as early as age 5. But what I'm focusing on is the age of accountability. When student athletes start to become more aware of who they are and the decisions they make. So we're looking at the age from 12 to 13 years old, even up to 14 and 15 years old, dealing with recreational league, organized sports. I learned a lot in my time. And so we know that recognition when you're from 5 to 12 years old, 13 years old playing recreational league football, the aspect of positive recognition and what is known as positive edification begins to take an effect on student athletes. Right? So what is edification? Edification is instruction or improvement of a person morally or intellectually. Moral and intellectual improvement. And once you score that touchdown or you score that goal, yay! You get edified. You even have award ceremonies at the recreational league level where you get awarded. You might have most valuable player, team player, certain awards that you get helps that student athlete, once again, between 10, 12, 13, 9, even there, but recreational league sports, that positive recognition and positive edification is so important in that child's life. So important as that child is evolving in their evolutionary educational experience. The second paradigm of a student athlete is high school. High school. So we're looking at the ages between 15 and 18 years old. Now, here's when more of the development process is happening for a student athlete. They're overcoming peer pressure, coming from middle school into high school, 9th graders, growing up. They're also growing and developing their self-image. So we're looking at an evolutionary stage from recreational league sports up into high school sports. They're not only growing physically, not only growing mentally and spiritually, but it's an evolutionary educational process. So they're overcoming peer pressure. They're learning and growing and developing their self-image and self-identity as a teenager. New hormones are coming online. New information is coming online, so it's very key, very important in that developmental stage of a student athlete, that high school time. It's a new level of achievement and new level of responsibility. I began working, my first job was at McDonald's, 15 years old, worker's permit. I began my job at McDonald's working. So it was a new level of achievement and a new level of responsibility because I began to make my own money. Also dealing with grades, dealing with seeing the end at the beginning, maybe 9th grade, looking to get a college scholarship. So it's so important to be aware of that time. The third paradigm of a student athlete is college. I was very blessed and fortunate to earn a degree to go to Virginia State University. I earned a scholarship to go to Virginia State University up in Petersburg, Virginia. And, my story may be a little different than most success stories for student athletes. I actually got a football scholarship. My freshman year, though, in college, I failed my biology class. My sophomore year, I received an academic probation warning letter, warning me that if I didn't get my act together, I'd be suspended from school. And that's when I had kind of a wake-up call dealing with, okay, why am I in school? Am I really taking my schooling serious like I should be? All right. And so the college paradigm is very similar to the high school paradigm, dealing with overcoming peer pressure, freshman year, growing and developing your self-image, your self-identity, but also a new level of achievement and a new level of responsibility as that in college. So it's very important to be conscious, intentional, and aware of that paradigm. Okay, got my little. I let you see my little nephew. I do it for these young. He's a young athlete that's getting ready to come up. So we're talking about learning and developing that self-image, that self-identity. So the fourth paradigm is the pro level. We know 1% of student athletes make it to the pros, whether that's football, basketball, and even expanding to tennis, golf, or even lacrosse. All right, keeping our vision expanded, but we know 1% makes it to that pro level. Okay, so I had a pro day, my NFL pro day. My opportunity to try out was at James Madison University. It was a great experience for me, and I was blessed to have that experience. But we know it's very similar to the college paradigm. Once again, growing your self-image, your self-identity, self-achievement, and more responsibility, growing into that adult, which will be from 19 to 23, 19 from 19 years old, 22, 23. The pros, 23 to 27 years old. Now, we know the average pro career at the football and NBA level is about 3 years. It's a 3-year experience at that pro level. So capitalizing on that 3-year experience, I had a best friend who played 3 years in the NFL. I have a best friend, Mark Parson. Check out some of his videos on YouTube. Mark Parson played for the New Orleans Saints and the Houston Texans. And so time management still plays a part, calendar planning, going to the fifth paradigm, which is your post-football career, your post-professional career, where you're transforming, you're kind of transcending from your school, playing football, athletic self-image and identity. And it can be tough sometimes for football and basketball players. I play football, so I can speak for football players to kind of transitioning and finding a path outside of that sport. So this brings me back to the purpose of this message, is taking ownership of your academic process, taking ownership of your personal development and spiritual and mental development throughout that evolutionary process from rec league to the pros and post sports. For me, mentorship was key. My coaches along the sports process, but also spiritual leaders that I was blessed with, trusted spiritual leaders. My pastor at my church. I just was so thankful to have such great mentorship and coaching from coaches in sports to, the trusted spiritual leaders that I was fortunate to have, to even my mentor that I met who helped me in the business world. Learning more about personal development and even what passive and residual income is and what being an entrepreneur was about. And this whole thing wraps into taking ownership of your own evolutionary educational experience. Taking ownership of your own mindset, guys. I hope this makes sense. Rewind this, play it again, take notes. Don't forget, send me your emails to iamtheslightedge@gmail.com. Ask me about my mentorship program and ask me about my multivitamin phytonutrient program, helping student athletes and professional athletes restore and regenerate their ligament and joint health, to recover stronger and faster from physical training, and also learning how to communicate at the cellular levels for optimal health, learning how to communicate with our bodies through our food. All right, see you in the next video. Peace.